Welcome back, students. Today we're going to do lesson 10.3. It's our last lesson of U.S. customary measurement. Today's lesson is over weight. So if you get out your reference sheet or you get out those little flashcards, today we're using ounces, pounds, and tons. So as we go through our conversions, we're just converting from ounces to pounds and then from pounds to tons. So there's only two conversions in this lesson. But look at the first question here. Hector's school is having a model rocket contest. To be in the contest, each rocket must weigh 4 pounds or less. Without any paint, Hector's rocket weighs 62 ounces. If Hector wants to paint his rocket, what is the weight of the most paint he can use? So he wants to paint his rocket. He cannot exceed 4 pounds, and it already weighs 62 ounces. So we need to figure out how much 4 pounds is in ounces so we can compare those two. If we look at it, this is the conversion that we're working with here, pounds to ounces. Pounds, 1 pound is 16 ounces. One thing that I try to stress to students, a way to remember that, first of all, ounces are different than fluid ounces. In the last lesson, we used fluid ounces when we were dealing with cups, pints, quarts, and gallons. That's a liquid. This is a weighted ounce, so it's a little bit different. The conversion is different here. So 1 pound is 16 ounces. The abbreviation for pounds is LB. And I always tell students to remember that LB is the abbreviation for pounds, and it looks like the number 16. So there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So if we go down here to our problem, we're going from pounds to ounces. So we have 4 pounds equals how many ounces? Again, a pound is bigger than an ounce, so this is still horse to fly. So we're going to multiply. We can still use that in this lesson. And because we know 1 ounce equals, or 1 pound equals 16 ounces, we're going to multiply by 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So 4 pounds is 64 ounces. So the rocket cannot weigh more than 64 ounces. It currently weighs 62 ounces. So we're going to take the 64 ounces and subtract 62 ounces from it, what it's currently weighed, and we get 2 ounces. So his rocket, that when he paints it, he cannot use more than 2 ounces. 2 ounces is the most paint that he can use and still qualify for the rocket contest. On the next page here, this is your box for conversions. You look right here. We're only using 1 pound equals 16 ounces. And then for our tons, 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. 2,000 pounds. So the only two numbers in this lesson we're going to use are 16 and 2,000. The rocket boosters for a U.S. space shuttle weigh 1,292,000 pounds each when the shuttle is launched. How many tons does each rocket booster weigh? So we have to convert from pounds to tons. And since we're going from pounds to tons, and we know tons is larger, we're going to fly to horse. So we're going to divide, of course. And since we know that 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton, we're going to divide by 2,000. We're going to skip step 2. They want us to break 2,000 into 1,000 twice. And we're going to go ahead and just divide it all at one time. So we're going to skip that step here as well as here. So we're going to divide 1,292,000 pounds by 2,000. So we have 1,292,000 divided by 2,000. One shortcut that you can use when you're dividing and you have zeros both in the dividend as well as at the end of the divisor, those two zeros can cancel each other out. So 1 0 in the divisor can cancel a zero in the dividend. And you can do that for as many zeros as there are on the outside as well as the inside, but it must be 1 0 for 1 0. If there's only an extra zero maybe on the outside, you can't just cancel it. There has to be 1 on the outside to cancel with 1 on the inside. So in this case, now we've canceled those zeros out, and we have 1,292 just divided by 2. It makes our division a lot easier when we're dividing large numbers that have zeros at the end. 2 goes into 12 6 times. Bring down the 9. 2 goes into 9 4 times. If that's an 8, we subtract, we get 1. We bring down the last 2. 2 goes into 12 again 6 times with nothing left over. So each rocket booster is going to weigh 646 tons. And that's each side. That's a lot of weight right there. Down here at the bottom, they just want you to be able to convert different amounts of pounds to ounces. By practicing, they're going to use like a briefcase here with 16 squares inside of it so that you can count to 16 multiple times. We're just going to use multiplication like we know horse to fly multiply for this. So we know that 1 pound equals 16 ounces because that's what the conversion is. But when we go from 2 pounds to ounces, again, we're thinking of horse to fly, and we multiply. We're multiplying 16 times 2. And when you take 16 times 2, you're going to get 32. So 2 pounds is 32 ounces. You can do the same thing for 3, or you could add 32 ounces for 2 pounds plus 16 more. We're just going to go 16 times 3, and we're going to get 48. So 3 pounds is 48 ounces. 16 times 4, which we did on the last page, is 64 ounces. Or you could do 2 pounds times 2, so 32 times 2, 64 ounces. And then the last one is 16 times 5 pounds, and that would give us 80 ounces. 80 ounces. So again, going from pounds to ounces, that's just a horse to fly. Multiply, and you multiply it by 16. So now, number 2 has 15 pounds. Remember, LB stands for pounds. That's the abbreviation, because that's what's going to help us remember. LB looks like the number 16, so 16 ounces in a pound. So we're going to do pounds to ounces, horse to fly. We're going to multiply, and we're going to take 15 pounds times 16 ounces in a pound. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. Drop a 0. 1 times 5, and 1 times 1. We add those up, and we get 240 ounces in 15 pounds. 240 ounces in our 15 pounds. Number 3, 3 tons equals how many pounds? A ton is bigger. Horse to fly, multiply. And we're going to take 3 tons times, there are 2,000 pounds in a ton. So we're going to take 2,000 times 3. And with a shortcut, you just have to simply take 3 times 2 and get 6. And then just add the extra zeros on the end. So this would be 6,000. So there are 6,000 pounds in 3 tons. Number 4, 320 ounces to pounds, fly to horse this time. So we're going to take 320 divided by 16, because 16 ounces in 1 pound. So 16 doesn't go into 3, but it does go into 32 2 times, because that's 32. Bring down the 0. When you bring a number down, you have to keep dividing. 16 goes into 0 0 times. And there, we are now finished. And 320 ounces equals 20 pounds. Let's look to the next page. We're going to continue doing the same concepts here. 23 pounds equals how many ounces? There are 16 ounces in a pound, and we're going from horse to fly. So we're taking 23 times the 16. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. Drop a 0. 1 times 3. 1 times 2. Add this up, and you should get 368. There are 368 ounces and 23 pounds. Number 6, 6 times equals how many pounds? Remember, forced to fly, multiply, and there are 2,000 pounds in a ton. So we're going to do 2,000 times 6. Just take 6 times 2, which is 12, and then add our zeros to the end. That way you don't have to go 6 times 0, 6 times 0, 6 times 0, then 6 times 2. Just add those extra zeros to the end. But there are 12,000 pounds in 6 tons. Number 7, 144 ounces is how many pounds? Fly to horse. Take 144 and divide it by 16. 16 doesn't go into 1, and it doesn't go into 14. So now you have to think, 16 times what is going to give us 144? So you might try 16 times 5 or 6 or 7, 8, 9. 16 times 9 is 144. When you subtract, you have nothing left over. So there are 9 pounds equals 144 ounces. I want you to do numbers 8, 9, and 10 on your own. Remember, do horse to fly, multiply, or fly to horse, divide, of course. And remember, you're using 16 when you're dealing with ounces and pounds, and you're using 2,000 when you're doing pounds to tons. So press pause, work those 3 out. I'm going to go ahead and erase this and then press pause so we can work out 8, 9, and 10. When you press play, you'll reveal the answers again. To erase this so we have some room to work these out. All right. All right, as you look over 8, 9, and 10 here, number 8, 15 tons is horse to fly, so we multiply by 2,000. I did 15 times 2 is 30. Knowing that, you could also work that out as well. 15 times 2 is 30. Add the 3 extra zeros. That gives us 30,000 pounds. Number 9 was fly to horse, so we divided 352 by 16. And we got 22. And then the last one was horse to fly. We multiplied 18 pounds by 16 ounces, and we got 288 ounces. As we look now down to the comparison, again, you can do these problems either way. You can go horse to fly or fly to horse. I prefer to go horse to fly because I'd much rather multiply, because I'm not going to end up with a remainder. So when we look at this, we know that ounces are smaller than pounds, so that's fly, and the other one's a horse. So we're going to turn our pounds to ounces in order to compare this. In order to compare, remember, both have to be the same label. So we're going to turn our pounds into ounces by multiplying by 16 here. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 1 is 8, plus that 4 is 12. So 8 pounds is 128 ounces compared to 130. 130 is larger, so the mouth opens to the first unit, 130 ounces. Number 12, again, we have pounds and ounces. So we have horse and fly here. Again, I would prefer to turn them from pounds to ounces because I like to multiply. We're going to multiply again by 16. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20. Drop a 0. 1 times 4 and 1 times 3. And if we add this up, we get 544. So this side is 544 ounces compared to the other side, which is also 544 ounces. These two are equal. 544 ounces is equal to 34 pounds. We're going to skip down here to number 14 so we can do a pounds and tons question. And we want to turn 16 tons into pounds because this is bigger than, tons are bigger than pounds. So of course to fly we want to multiply. Remember, there are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton, so we take 16 times 2,000. And I'm just going to go 16 times 2 is 32, and add the extra 3 zeros to the end. This side is 32,000 pounds, and the other side is also 32,000 pounds. So therefore, 16 tons is equal to 32,000 pounds. Now, go ahead and do 13, 15, and 16 on your own. My preference would be turning your pounds to ounces, so you can go horse to fly. On number 15, the same thing, horse to fly, so I would turn my pounds into ounces, and then this one here, go tons to pounds, because this is horse, that would be fly, so we'd want to multiply for this one. But you are more than welcome to go fly to horse and try to divide. You may end up getting a remainder, but you should still be able to compare those. So go ahead and do 13, 15, and 16. When you press pause, work those out, and then when you hit play again, it will continue to reveal those answers. All right, as we go through this, number 13, we went pounds to ounces, took 16 times the 14 pounds, got 224 ounces versus 229 ounces, which is larger, so 14 pounds is less than 229 ounces. Number 15, 5 pounds times 16 gives us 80 ounces. The 5 pounds is 80 ounces versus 79 ounces. 5 pounds is larger or greater than 79 ounces. And then the last one here, it's kind of covered, but it's 85,000 pounds. And we're comparing that to 40 tons. I went ahead and went tons to pounds times 2,000. 40 times 2 is 80, and then went 3 extra zeros. You could also go 2 times 4 is 8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 extra zeros that way. But you're going to get 80,000 pounds. 85,000 pounds is greater than 40 tons. That ends today's lesson. If we look to our homework, tonight you are doing even problems on the front. You can exclude number 18. On the back, you are doing questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. You may cross off 5 and 6 because those are fraction questions, and we haven't covered those yet. Some helpful hints here on number 3. There are 20 guests at a party. The host has 8 gallons of punch. He estimates that each guest will drink 2 cups. if his estimate is correct, how much punch will be left over at the end of the party. So you have to do two things. First, you need to figure out 8 gallons equals how many cups. So look at the Great American Amusement Park picture here, and we have 1 gallon, and you want to count the number of cups inside of that gallon there. So there's 2, 4, right? 2 here, 2 here. So there's 2 inside of each of those pints. So count the number of cups, and you're going gallons to cups, forced to fly. So you're going to multiply by the number of cups in there. That's going to tell you how many cups he's going to have. Then, if each guest, and there are 20 guests, drinks 2 cups, you need to figure out how many cups each, or how many cups are going to be drank. So 20 guests each drink 2 cups. How many cups is that? And then we want to know how much is going to be left over. So if you have the top number and you take away or you drink this many cups here, how much is left? Number 4, a typical lap around a track in the United States has a length of 440 yards. How many laps would be needed to complete a run of 1 mile? Well, 1 mile is 1,760 yards. So you need to come up with 440 times what number gives you 1,760 yards. So 440 times what gives you 1,760. That ends today's lesson. Great job today, guys. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. Have a good day.